is your ex-wife going to get your stuff after you pass away? It's a big fear of a lot of people. They generally don't have a great relationship with their ex-wife or ex-spouse. And so now they're concerned that, hey, we've accumulated all of this stuff, or I've accumulated all this stuff. We went through the divorce, but is my ex-wife, is she going to get anything that I had? Because you'd rather it go to your kids or somebody else, basically anybody other than your ex-wife. For the most part, if you've gone through the divorce, you've already distributed the assets. You've already said, hey, you get the house, you get the car, whatever it is. So for the most part, no, the spouse is not going to get whatever you had. You might have done an estate plan while you were together, so you might still have a will that says, hey, I want everything to go to my wife when I pass away, and then to my children. Well, depending on the state, for the most part, most states are going to say that even if you have a will, if you haven't changed it, you did a will while you were married, but then you got divorced, most states are going to say that the will, it's going to be valid in part, but the part that says that references your spouse or leaves anything to her is no longer valid. The language they would say is that your wife, it's as if your wife has predeceased you. It's as if your wife has died before you. So she's not going to, if you've got a will and says, hey, I want everything to go to my wife, the courts are not going to enforce that. Now, you still are probably, if you did get divorced and you had a will or you had something, you're probably going to want to update that just to make sure that there's no confusion when you do pass away. So if you did do a will, if you did do a trust, if you did some estate planning, you want to update that after you've been divorced. You also want to make sure that you update any beneficiaries. Now, a lot of people will have life insurance policies where they name their spouse as the beneficiary, or maybe you've got a retirement account, an investment account, a checking savings account, or something like that where you've named your spouse as the beneficiary. You want to double check that. Again, a lot of institutions, and this is kind of on a case-by-case basis, a lot of institutions will say that that beneficiary designation is no longer valid because you all have been divorced, but sometimes they'll still honor it. Sometimes they'll still say that, you never changed it and this person is the beneficiary even though you got divorced. So if you're going through the divorce, if you've already been divorced, that's something you want to look at. Update the estate planning documents that you have, the will, the trust, all of that. Make sure that you take her out of it. Just do something new. And same thing, look at all your accounts. Look at your beneficiary accounts. Are you still joint owners on any of your accounts? And obviously you want to make sure that you update that as well.